Hello everyone, this is Lego Toby, and today I will be doing a review of the LEGO Bionicle Glatoran's Mata Nui. The set number for this LEGO set is 8989, and this set has a total of 52 pieces, and even originally retailed for $13 and was released back in the year 2009. Yeah, right off the bat you may notice that I actually have never reviewed a Bionicle LEGO set on this channel before, so this is pretty exciting, and not only that, this is also so far the oldest Lego set I'm reviewing on the channel as of right now. So yeah, and probably the oldest Lego set I'll get to review in a little while, unfortunately. And also, one more disclaimer and note before getting into the rest of the review. Keep in mind that this is actually a used copy of this Lego set that I got from Bricks and Minifigures because, because this is obviously a Lego set that I wanted. I found it at Bricks and Minifigs, but also, yeah, you can tell there are some cracked pieces. But for the most part, though, it is a complete Lego set, and only one official piece is missing from this Lego set, and that piece being this particular part right here. And considering it's the only 2009 Glatoran era Bionicle set I have as of right now, yeah, I clearly do not have an official replacement. So for this particular review, I'm just going to use this part as the replacement. But we'll get into that when I get into that. So the first part here we have are just the feet and the legs. Okay, I think I should also do like a quick 360 review of the set before getting into any more depth. Hopefully I do not knock down the blue base plate background again. But then again, that's pretty much become a trend in all my YouTube videos. It happens at least once. But to be fair though, it is pretty much my fault that they're just poorly placed there. Like I should probably tape them to the wall or something. But, I mean, maybe, this time it won't happen. I have no idea. But again, here we have some feet and legs, which nothing too spectacular or interesting here. And over here we have his, left arm build, which again has a sphere shooter, which, you can, pretty much, well, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure the function is relatively simple, even for those who aren't really familiar with the play feature. And yeah, and again, this black sphere piece did not originally come with this Lego set. I decided to use it from another Lego set I had for this particular set review because unfortunately, again, I don't have the actual spiky ball that this set came with. So yeah, and also, you'll also notice that for those who actually grew up with the Lego Hero Factory theme and not Bionicle, you'll notice that mainly, at least for me personally, you'll also notice that this is actually a different shooter design than from the 2012 breakout year, because there's an actual pin attachment here as well as of course, an axle attachment here. And it pretty much means like it's also a little bit of I guess of a weaker plastic than the one that was introduced in the 2012 year of Hero Factory breakout sets. So that's pretty interesting to note. So yeah, but aside from that, I mean, that's the most interesting thing I have to say about this particular build. Aside from that, pretty much the same thing as his right arm build, except for the fact that his right arm build includes some sort of shield weapon build. Actually, it's Mata Nui's weird bug insect thing, so that's pretty cool. And by the way, if you hear noises in the hallway, that's my sister talking with her friends. She's really, really loud about it and gives no mercy. So, yeah, and again, aside from this weapon shield like thing that was actually created from a bug, yeah, I don't have much else to say about it. And again, sorry if you hear noises that aren't me. That's my sister walking down the hallway giving me no mercy. So yeah, anyways, and then we have the back here, which has a pretty interesting play feature of like this death wheel thing. And being someone who isn't too familiar with the 2009 Glatoran sets, again, like I said, this is the only one I have as of right now. This is actually a death wheel, which is actually some kind of game where like you pretty much have your like Glatoran hero at 5, and you also need the canister to play this, which, again, because this is a used copy that didn't have the canister, unfortunately, I don't have the canister, but pretty much you have to shoot the canister, and every time you successfully hit the opponent's canister, it pretty much goes down, and the first player to reach, well, the skull, well, I'm pretty sure we all know what that means. So, yeah, pretty cool idea, and again, it actually shows it in the instructions, but I'll actually get to that when we get to the instructions booklet. But obviously, aside from that, there is nothing else for me to really say about the back here. So, now let's take a look at the head. And I'm just going to remove the helmet real quick, and it just reveals a normal, typical, transparent blue Glatoran headpiece, which, keep in mind, this is one of the first LEGO sets to have the Glatoran headpiece, actually, so that's actually pretty cool to know. I mean, they're called Glatoran headpieces for a reason. And again, they were used up until 2012 with the Hero Factory Breakout line. And again, you've probably seen my reviews for some of those sets. And yeah, and especially for Stormer XL and Stringer, if you've seen my review for those, then there's clearly nothing new here. But the main thing about this I want to take a look at is the Mask of Life itself, which is actually a pretty interesting design, and even though it's not the most interesting or rare design of this piece, it's still pretty cool either way, and definitely a nice, cheap alternative to get this piece, especially if you couldn't afford or even get your hands on the Toa Motunui set. This is still a decent alternative. It's not the gold you'd expect it to be, but still nice for what it is. But something to note about this piece is that it actually has the Motunui robot, that would eventually come around in the year 2008, which is pretty cool, honestly. That really is. So, yeah, with the head right there and the arms and where like its eyes are at, and I guess the legs are where its kind of mouth or mustache looking thing is at. So overall, pretty awesome helmet design. And again, this helmet piece technically originated like back in like 2006 at the earliest, I want to say. But this is the first time it was ever made into a physical Lego piece, though. So yeah, really cool piece and a decent Lego set overall. But that's all I really have to say about the official Lego set itself. So as always, we should go ahead and look at the instructions booklet. And believe it or not, back before 2013, you know how modern day Lego instructions booklets have the minifigure who's wearing green, and it pretty much like shows you like the steps of how to like organize the parts? Well, back before 2013, this is what those like parts organizing pages looked like. Yeah, not the most fascinating thing, but decent for what it was. And of course, we have the instructions itself, and even a little bit of an arena down here, a Glatoran arena. And then going all the way back to the instructions, we of course have an advertisement for the Bionicle action figure game with, again, the death wheel I talked about just now, and it pretty much shows you the steps on how to play it. Yes, this does indeed go for 2 pages long. And then we get to the real advertisements from the 2009 year of Bionicle. With all of these sets, we have 6 different Glatoran heroes, Motunui included. And if I'm not mistaken, this was actually the summer of 2009. I could be wrong about that, though. And, of course, we also have the larger, more expensive vehicle-based sets. This one, if I'm not mistaken, being the largest and most part-heavy construction figure scale Lego set of all time. So that's pretty cool. And then over here, we even have an advertisement for the Bionicle, The Legend Reborn, which, believe it or not, I actually have a story to tell about this. Because, believe it or not, when I was younger, like 3 years old, my mom always had the movie Coraline on, which, yeah, was not the greatest movie for a 3-year-old to watch, but, I mean, nowadays, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. But, back to this. One of the advertisements that played before the movie Coraline was actually an advertisement for this movie, Bionicle, The Legend Reborn. And technically, that was actually my very first experience I've ever had with Lego, so yeah, it's actually somewhat of a big deal to me personally. So, yeah, interesting story. And there's also, of course, an advertisement for the Lego Club, because why not? And even the old 2009 Win advertisement that came before the Win Kid, at one point, both of these sets that were pictured here were actually 2007 sets. This one being the 2007 Naboo Starfighter from LEGO Star Wars, and this one being Kongu, Toa Mari Kongu, also from 2007. And, well, this one, I believe, is a 2000 LEGO City Police set as well, but this advertisement never changed. So, yeah, so that's pretty much the LEGO set. And how do I think of Mata Nui from 2009? Overall, he's a decent LEGO set. Obviously, the 2009 Glatoran line used what the Ignika builds since 2006, so there's nothing really interesting or new build-wise. However, though, this was the first time we have ever gotten Mata Nui, one of the most important Bionicle characters made into physical LEGO form. So you know what? That's a pretty big deal for this LEGO set in general, honestly. So, yeah, so that's something to note about this LEGO set. But overall, yeah, it's definitely a pretty cool set. And honestly, definitely my favorite and probably even the best. Well, I wouldn't say my favorite because technically I have the 2001 Tahoe, but that set is as of right now unreviewable. So yeah, but either way, this is definitely probably the best Bionicle Gen 1 set in my collection as of right now. And overall, yeah, it's a pretty fine set for what it is. I give it a 2-star rating. Even though the build isn't particularly interesting or out of the ordinary, that was pretty much Bionicle Gen 1 for you. The color scheme is pretty great, though, with the Bumblebee aesthetic, I guess. And again, this is a nice way to get the Mask of Life. Even though it's not really golden, like with Toa Mata Nui, it's still a fine LEGO set for what it is. And for those who couldn't afford Toa Mata Nui, this is a great alternative. Heck, as a matter of fact, I don't think Toa Mata Nui even appeared in Bionicle: The Legend Reborn. So honestly, this makes this LEGO set a little bit more desirable in that case, actually. But either way, this is LEGO Toby. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And before I have to go, this is probably the very first LEGO set review in a long time where the background didn't even fall down. So that's a pretty good thing. And also, again, sorry if you did notice some cracked bone pieces. It's not my fault. This is the 2009 Bionicle Gen 1 set. And also, sorry about the background noise as well. I tried to review this in a time where everything was quiet, but unfortunately, this really was not the greatest day, though. But still, I try my best to get a LEGO set review out every Wednesday. So, yeah, goodbye and see you next time.